The night shift had already thinned out when Lan's message flashed on Mai's phone. Night had already emptied the floor. Most desks were dark. Only the server hum stayed. Mai was still at hers, one screen awake, one cup gone cold. Lan's name flashed on her phone. Not a call, a message clipped and wrong. Alex had an accident. For a moment, Mai didn't breathe. Not because she was shocked, because she was listening for what the words didn't say. Across the open office, someone's keyboard stopped. A chair rolled back. Two voices lowered, then broke. Is it real? Is he? Mai kept her eyes on the screen. She didn't stand. She didn't ask who hit him. She didn't ask where. Her thumb hovered over the reply field, then lifted away. A second message came through from a director, not Lan. All leadership calls postponed. Wait for updates. Mai's jaw tightened once. She set the phone face down. The black glass held her reflection for a second. Calm features. No permission to crack. Tomorrow's calendar was already full. Meetings built around Alex's signature. Mai clicked one, then another. Not deleting, just opening. Seeing the structure. And in the thin office light, she realized something simple and dangerous. If Alex wasn't in the building tomorrow, the company would move on instinct. And Mai didn't move, as if the next move had already been quietly chosen. The office didn't get louder, it got careful. People pretended to work. Files opened, screens scrolled, but every glance slid to the same place. Mai's phone, face down. Silent. She flipped it over again. Lan's chat thread sat there. 3 dots appeared, then vanished, then appeared again. Mai opened her call log. One swipe, a list of names, a list of timestamps. She stared at the top entry, her own number beside Alex's. A call that should have been harmless, a call that now looked like a line drawn on paper. Delete. Confirm. She scrolled. Another call, shorter, earlier. Delete. Confirm. Her thumb moved too fast for thinking, like muscle memory, like practice. Then she opened her drafts. A message she'd started an hour ago and never sent. Alex, can we talk? No. Not that. She erased it, then erased the empty space where it had been. Across the aisle, a junior manager whispered, "They say he went straight into surgery." Someone else answered, "His wife's there, pregnant, with their kid." Mai kept her eyes on her screen. She read an email without seeing the words. A new notification slid down. Company-wide group chat. Subject, emergency protocol. Lan, I'm at the hospital. Lan, Tuna is here. Henry has a fever. Lan, please keep the board calm. A heart emoji from someone. A prayer hands emoji from someone else. Then nothing useful. Mai. Are you still in the office? Mai. The directors are asking for you. Mai typed, I'm coming. She watched the words sit there. Then she deleted them, letter by letter. She typed again. Call me. She deleted that too. Instead, she sent one line. I'm handling the office, Lan replied almost instantly. Don't do anything without me. Mai didn't answer. She stood, walked to the glass meeting room, closed the door behind her. No slam, no drama. Inside, her own breathing sounded loud. She rubbed her wrist once, absent. The skin felt raw under the sleeve. Her laptop opened to a spreadsheet Alex guarded like scripture. Cash flow, approvals, access levels. Mai clicked view only. A small reminder. Alex had locked even her out. Her pulse climbed. Not panic, just calculation. Because if Alex stayed unconscious through morning, someone would have to sign, and the board didn't like empty spaces. Mai's phone vibrated again. Not Lan. Unknown number. One missed call, then another. Mai watched it ring, let it stop. Watched it ring again. She didn't pick up. She only turned the phone over, face down, and listened to the silence press closer. In the meeting room, the ceiling lights made everyone look honest. Mai hated that. She unlocked her phone again. Lan's last message glowed. Tu Na is here. Mai didn't picture the hospital. She pictured the doors, the ones that stayed shut until they opened on a new reality. She lowered the phone to her lap. Her voice came out like breath, not speech. I just wanted you to stop for a moment. The sentence surprised even her. Soft, almost reasonable. As if wanting someone to pause wasn't the same as wanting them to fall. She stared at her wrist. A thin scratch ran along the inside. So fine it could have been an accident. So fresh it still shone under the light. Mai dragged a finger near it and didn't touch, as if touch would make it true. Outside the glass, the office kept pretending, laughter that ended too quickly, a printer that started, then stopped, a door that clicked, careful. Mai pulled her sleeve down, one smooth motion, covering the line, covering the thought. She opened her camera app, just to check her face. No tears, no shaking, a woman who could walk into a boardroom and sound normal. Then she closed it, because the problem wasn't her face. The problem was that her phone company would still remember every call, even when she didn't. And that made one question land, sharp and unfinished. Had she only asked Alex to stop? Or started a clock she couldn't stop? Mai knocked once, then entered without waiting. That was her style. She shut the glass door behind her. Her eyes went straight to Mai's phone, then to Mai's wrist, then away again, like she'd seen enough. You're still here, Mai said. Not a question. An inventory check. Mai kept her voice level. Someone has to keep the lights on. Mai's mouth tightened. The lights are on at the hospital too. Mai didn't react. She opened her laptop, a harmless file, a budget tab, something to hold between them. Mai leaned closer to the window. Outside, the car park lay flat and quiet. One car sat at an angle near the back line. Parked wrong. Like it had come in late and didn't care who noticed. Mai didn't point. She didn't have to. You drove back, Mai said softly. Mai's fingers stopped for half a second, then kept moving. I left for coffee. At midnight. Mai looked up then. Just once. If you came to accuse me, do it properly. Mai held the stare. No heat, just patience. I came, Mai said, because the directors are calling each other, and because Lan is too busy to manage them, and because Alex's mother just arrived. Mai's throat tightened, not fear, a reflex to a name with weight. Mai continued, almost casual. She didn't ask how he was. She asked who was with him before he left the office. Mai let the silence sit. It was safer than words. Mai's phone lit up, a text. She read it, then slid the screen toward Mai. Board call in 12 minutes, all dept heads present, no exceptions. Mai didn't touch the phone. She memorized the line, then looked back at her own laptop. Lan told them to wait, Mai said. Mai gave a small shake of her head. They don't wait when they smell weakness. Mai glanced at the window again. That angled car. The empty space around it. The way it looked like a mistake someone hoped would fade into darkness. She stood, walked to the blinds, pulled them down. The room dimmed. Their faces became reflections again. Harder to read. Mai watched Mai's hands. Why aren't you at the hospital? She asked. No accusation, just the edge of curiosity. Mai answered with the truth that worked. Tu Na doesn't need me. She needs doctors. She needs family. She has family. Mai didn't smile. She has Alex's mother. That's not the same as safety. Mai's phone vibrated. Lan again. Mai didn't open it. Not yet. Mai's voice stayed low. You know what happens next, right? They'll appoint an interim signatory. They'll ask for access. They'll ask where Alex kept the keys. Mai exhaled slowly. Then we give them what they need. And what about what they want? Mai asked. Mai met her gaze in the dim. What do they want, Mai? Mai took a breath, then said it. A story. A clean one. One that ends with Alex stepping aside and someone else stepping forward. Mai felt the words hit the room like cold air, because it was obvious, because it had always been obvious. Her phone vibrated again, a call this time, unknown number. Mai glanced at it. Recognition flickered. You should answer that, Mai said. Mai didn't. She let it ring, let it stop. A new message appeared under the missed call. No name, just text. Did you tell them where he went? Mai stared at the words. Her heart didn't race. It dropped, as if the floor under her plan had shifted. Mai watched her face. Who's that? She asked. Mai lied cleanly. Spam. Mai didn't believe it, but she didn't press. She looked at the door instead. Then, back at Mai. You're hiding something, Mai said. Maybe from me. Maybe from yourself. Mai's voice sharpened. Don't. Mai held up her hands, not surrendering. Fine. Then listen. She stepped closer, close enough that her voice didn't have to travel. If Alex survives, he comes back different. If he doesn't, Mai stopped herself, not out of kindness, out of calculation. The board call, she finished, will happen either way. Mai nodded. One small movement, a decision made without words. She opened Lan's chat at last. 3 missed calls, 1 message. Where are you, Mai? Alex's mother is asking. Mai stared at that line. Alex's mother is asking. The woman didn't ask for comfort. She asked for patterns. Mai typed, I'm at the office, handling things. She watched the sentence, then deleted it. Instead, she typed a question. Is Alex conscious? She didn't send it, because if he was conscious, he could speak. And if he could speak, the night would have witnesses. Mai checked her watch. 8 minutes, she said. Do you want to walk into that call as yourself? Or as someone they can replace? Mai closed the laptop. The click sounded final. She stood, smoothed her sleeve over her wrist again, one small, careful gesture. Then, she opened the door. Let's go, Mai said. And as they stepped back into the bright office, the night outside stayed quiet, too quiet. The board call wasn't a meeting. It was a test. Faces filled the screen, some from home, some from cars, some still in the office pretending it wasn't midnight. Mai spoke when spoken to. Short answers, no emotion, no mistakes. Mai did most of the talking, numbers, risk, continuity, and every time Alex's name came up, the room got quieter, not respectful, wary. One director asked, Do we have confirmation from the hospital? Mai answered, Lan is there. Another asked, Who has access to Alex's approvals? Mai answered, We're documenting options. No one asked Mai if she was going to the hospital. No one said, You should go. No one said, Are you okay? They looked at her like she was a door, useful only if it opened. When the call ended, the office didn't exhale. It held its breath. Mai walked back to her desk. The corridor of cubicles felt longer than it was. A junior staff member met her eyes, then dropped them. A team lead typed too loudly, like noise could cover discomfort. Mai sat, opened an email, closed it. Her phone stayed face up now. She wanted to see everything coming. She didn't trust surprise anymore. Lan sent one message. Alex is still in surgery. No punctuation, no comfort, just status. Mai read it once, then again. She typed a reply. Any update on Tu Na? She stared at the words, then deleted them, because she didn't want to know how much pain was happening without her. And she didn't want Lon to hear the wrong kind of concern. Mai returned to Mai's desk without announcing herself. "Tomorrow morning," she said, "they'll ask for Alex's laptop. They'll ask for his office. They'll ask for his phone." Mai's stomach tightened. His phone? Mai watched her, not kind, not cruel, accurate. "There will be an investigation," Mai continued. "Police, insurance, board, all of them. And when they ask for call logs, no one will care what you deleted on your screen." Mai kept her expression still. Her fingers curled under the desk, out of sight. Mai's voice dropped. "You didn't go to the hospital because you wanted control? I get it. But control costs?" Mai looked around. The office had turned into a room of people waiting for permission. No one came near her. No one offered water. No one asked if she needed a ride. They let her sit alone at the center of the storm, because storms were contagious. A security guard stopped by her desk. Polite, too polite. "Ms. Mai," he said, "there's a car in the back lot, parked outside the lines." Mai's heart stuttered once, just once. "That's mine," she said. The guard nodded. "Someone asked if we have camera coverage for the lot. I told them the system archives everything." Mai forced a small smile that felt like paper. "Thank you." The guard left. Mai's smile disappeared the moment his back turned. Her sleeve had slipped up slightly. The scratch on her wrist caught the overhead light. She pulled the sleeve down again, harder this time. Mai watched the gesture, said nothing. Mai opened her laptop, went to the security portal she only had limited access to. Blank page, permission denied. A simple message: "You are not authorized." Mai stared at it, then at her own hands, because the cost wasn't just suspicion. The cost was that, without Alex, even Mai didn't have the keys she'd assumed were hers. And in the office's heavy silence, she felt something colder than fear settle in. Being invisible was only useful until someone decided to look. By 3 a.m., the building felt like it belonged to machines. Air vents, elevator lights, security rounds. The people who could go home had gone. The people who stayed did it for reasons they didn't say out loud. Mai stayed because leaving would look like guilt, and staying would look like leadership. Either way, she was being watched. She shut her laptop, then opened it again. Then shut it. Her phone battery dropped into the red. She plugged it in. The cable trembled slightly in her hand, like even plastic understood tension. Lon didn't text again. No updates, no comfort. Mai had moved to another room to make calls. Mai could hear her voice through the wall sometimes, low, professional. A woman already shaping tomorrow. Mai stared at her own screensaver, black, blank, her reflection floating in it. She turned the phone off, one button, one dark screen. For the first time that night, the silence felt loud enough to hurt. A knock came at her desk. Not Mai, not a director. The security guard again. He held a clipboard and a form that looked too official for this hour. "Ms. Mai," he said, "I need you to sign that you were in the building all night." "Standard procedure." Mai took the pen. Her hand didn't shake. That was the problem. It felt practiced. She signed, handed it back. The guard hesitated, like he wanted to say something human. Then he didn't. Before he walked away, he added, "There's a woman on the phone downstairs. She says she's Alex's mother." Mai's throat tightened. A small, involuntary sound tried to rise. She swallowed it. "I'm busy," Mai said. The guard nodded once, as if he'd expected that. She said she'd wait. He left. Mai sat back down slowly. The chair creaked. too loud. She looked at the phone she'd turned off, like it could protect her by being dead. Then her laptop pinged. A calendar invite. Emergency review, '07. Required attendees. LAN, legal. My clicked it. A note in the body, blunt and cold. Bring your device logs. Device logs, not your explanation, not your feelings, not your version. Logs. Mai's gaze drifted to her sleeve again, to the spot where the scratch hid, to the part of her that still wanted to believe she'd only made a small decision. She reached for her phone, paused, didn't turn it on, because if she turned it on, messages would pour in, and one of them would be the wrong one. The one that proved she'd been closer to this night than anyone should be. Mai stood, walked to the window, looked down at the parking lot, at the empty lines, at the security lights sweeping, slow and patient. She understood it then, not as guilt, as math. You could delete a call, you could delete a draft, but you couldn't delete the fact that you'd wanted Alex to stop. And somewhere, someone had already saved the part she couldn't erase. Behind her, the office phone rang. A landline, old, unavoidable. Mai stared at it until the ringing stopped. Then it rang again. And this time, she knew the night wasn't waiting for her anymore.